Let's start again. Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Nick and
Anthony
at Talk and Review. So we've got two fragrances that we are going to discuss. These were kindly sent to us from Aroma Concepts. The first one is Shiyaaka. Look at that. And the second one is Ministry of Oud.
So before we get into the review, Aroma Concepts have kindly given us a promotional code to get you 10% off, which is at the bottom of the screen right now. Look at that. Look at that right there. Look. All right. So that'll get you 10% off with TKNR10. Also, if you are looking to purchase something from Aroma Concepts, they do ship internationally to the US, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, and the EU. So pretty much everywhere. Not everywhere, but pretty much everywhere. So if you're wanting to get your hands on something using the 10% discount code that we've got and you live within those areas, you're good to go.
Right, okay, so we're going to start with Shiyaaka. Right, okay, so onto the notes. The top notes are petitgrain, rosemary, pink pepper. The middle notes are ylang ylang, neroli, orris root, jasmine, and the base is cedar, vetiver, patchouli, and sandalwood.
So before we go over what we think about this fragrance, let's take a look at the presentation. So that was the presentation for Shiyaaka by Khadlaj Perfumes. So Nick, what are your thoughts on the presentation?
So I think for the value that you get with this is a great bottle. It's one that's definitely gonna stand out in your collection. Feels heavy, and yeah, it's just quality. It feels quality to me. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to stand out because of its design. Its overall design is quite pleasing. Like you said, it's very, very weighty, so there's a lot of glass to it. The cap itself is not particularly heavy, but it doesn't feel plasticky. Like, on some caps where you can like almost bend or break them because they're that plasticky. It's got something to it, but that could be the design around the outside of it. But yeah, overall, if it's something that you're looking to stand out in your collection, it's going to work because it stands out. And I would say as well, not just the bottle design, but me, I'm a box guy. The box that this comes in as well is really, really pleasing. And one of the things that I really like about it is the consistency from the box to the bottle. So the box, the bottle, it's really, really consistent. And it's got this matte feeling to it. You can't really see it on camera, but it's got this in the black, it's got this matte feel to it, which feels quality. It feels quite nice, and it's got some nice embossing all over it. So it doesn't feel like they've skimped on it or they've just got a box and they've printed something on it like some really expensive fragrances we know. But this is really, really cheap. You get a decent box if you're a box kind of person. You get a decent looking bottle as well. And for the price, like you said, Nick, for the price, you really, really can't argue with that.
So let's go into the smell of this fragrance.
Oh, baby.
Oh my god. So this is listed as a modern, stylish, and fresh scent, and it's developed for the charming male. So what was your thoughts on the smell?
Okay, so I'll be straight up here that yes, I do think that this is one for the modern man, simply because of the floral aspect, the heavy floral aspect to this fragrance. It's not very masculine. Like it's not very like you wouldn't go that smells manly, but again, it doesn't smell. It doesn't smell feminine. It's got a good balance between the white florals and everything else, which makes it kind of feel like to me it's very unisex. Like I don't feel like it's that masculine, but then again I don't feel like it's that feminine. It's got that right balance, which makes it perfect for your modern day metrosexual male. The main thing that stands out for me is that this smells almost identical. I would say almost identical. It's probably more of an inspired by of Amouage's Reflection Man. It's got that smell to it straight away. It's very much for me. What I take away from Reflection Man and what I take away from this is that sun cream kind of vibe, where it's got that fresh, creamy sun cream kind of vibe. And it is really, really creamy. And I'm thinking like towards the late dry down, that's probably due to the sandalwood that's in it. It is really creamy, but it is very, very similar to Reflection Man. And I've tried a few clones of Reflection Man. I'm not saying that this is a clone, it's more of an inspired by version, but this is absolutely up there with some of the best that I've smelled, bar the original version.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with everything that you said. And when I first smelt it, it took me a while to think of what this really reminded me of. I messaged a few people and yourself in the FRAG COMM to say, what does this smell like? Because it reminded me so much of another fragrance. And yeah, you've got that Reflection Man. And what I get from Reflection Man normally is that sort of comfort with the white florals. This delivers that. Performance on this is absolutely cracking. It lasts a very long time, especially if you've sprayed it on your top. First time I wore this, I sprayed a little bit on my shirt, a bit on my wrists, and even next day I could smell it just lingering all over my shirt. It's a eau de parfum, so yeah, it's bound to last a very long time. So yeah, I really like this.
I will just jump in there on performance as well. When you say that the performance is cracking, that is an understatement, because this performance, like this was on my skin for 24 hours. Like it was strong, like really, really strong. And even when you kind of like then wash your skin later on, it still lingers there. So on clothes, it will be there until they're washed. It will absolutely be there until they're washed. And it's not, whilst the performance is really, really good, it's not an overbearing opening. Like it's not that strong where you kind of go, I can't deal with this because it's that strong. It just stays there for a long time. So yeah, I will agree. The performance on it is it's like god tier performance. It's beastly. So let's quickly talk about when or where we could wear this fragrance. It's due to the notes in it. I do feel like it's more leaning towards spring, summertime wearing. However, due to the fact that it is such a strong fragrance and it lasts for a while, I think you could probably get away with wearing this all year round, if I'm being honest, because of the strength of it. If it was a weaker performer, I would say that you probably couldn't in your autumn winter, but because of how well it performs, I think you could absolutely get away with wearing it wherever. And because it's so fresh and so clean, I would say that, yeah, it's perfect for office wear. It's perfect for, just shirt and tie if you go into like a formal occasion, formal event. It's just really clean, really fresh. And yeah, I mean, all year round, you can't really go wrong with an all year rounder for the price that it is as well, which is cracking.
Okay, so the second fragrance that we are going to discuss is Ministry of Oud Greatest.
So as we did with Shiyaaka, let's take a quick look at the presentation of this before we go into what we think. So that's the presentation for Ministry of Oud Greatest by Paris Corner. Nick, talk to me about the presentation of this one.
Again, I think similar to Shiyaaka, this is a very solid glass bottle. And I was very surprised by both of them of how quality they look. They don't feel cheap. Um, I'd expect a more expensive fragrance to have this sort of style of glass. Um, yeah, I think for what it is, and similar to Shiaka and the cost that you pay for, you get a really good bottle. Um, there's nothing that's it doesn't feel cheap to me. For what you're paying for, I really like the bottle.
Yeah, I would absolutely echo it. The weight to it, the thickness of the glass, just the simplicity in it in the bottle, I think is really really nice. The cap again has got a little bit of weight to it as well. I'm not so keen on the kind of like little engraving at the top. It kind of looks a little kind of like stuck on. And Paris Corner do this thing on their atomizers. I don't know if you can see where they put Paris Corner on the atomizer. I don't think it's entirely necessary, but I suppose no one's going to really see that if the lid is on and or your finger is on the atomizer. So I suppose I'm just splitting hairs there. But overall, yeah, solid. Looks solid. It's it's very it's very pleasing in a very different way to Shiaka, I think,
Yeah,
because whereas Shiaka is a very standout, very loud looking bottle, this is just really elegant and simple. And like
yeah,
you said, for the price point, I think it looks a lot more expensive than it actually is,
yeah,
which I think you can boil down to the quality and thickness of the glass
yeah,
and the simplicity of its design. I think it looks really, really nice.
yeah. And I think even just the little details are good. Like you said, with the top bits on here, they don't really need to do that. They could just put a gold lid on and just leave it as is. And same as this, it could just be a little bit of writing on the front, a small glass bottle. But yeah, I think it just looks nice, really nice. Right, let's go over how does this smell. Let's start with the notes. So the top notes are lavender, saffron, and nutmeg. The heart is agarwood, which is your oud, and then your base is patchouli and musk. So, Anthony, what was your thoughts on this one?
I don't like it, if I'm being honest. Like, it's not. I'm not to say that it's a bad smelling fragrance. It's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah,
It opens up with this like really. It's really weird hearing those notes because, to me, it opens up with this fruity woodiness. I can't really put my finger on what the fruitiness is, but it feels like a sour. I want to say cherry, like a sour cherry mixed in with kind of oud, so like a fruity oud. But
yeah,
I don't feel like the two complement each other in a way that they're potentially going for. It might be a lot of people's bag. Like I don't really know, but to me, it's just not something that I can really ever see myself reaching for. So with it
yeah,
opening with this kind of like fruity, oudy kind of vibe, once that kind of dies down, for me, then all I start to then pick up is a really kind of reminiscent feel of Baccarat Rouge 540 with a lot of wood. It's like a woody BR 540. That's all I can get.
yeah,
It's not like there's like a burnt, like, that the candy floss smell of BR 540. It's
yeah,
kind of like hinted in the background along with this oud. I don't really get anything else from it. And it's very, very strong. So it's not something that I can ever really say, yes, I would want to wear that. Like in terms of the strength and the power of the fragrance, like I've sprayed it, and I mean, in this office, like it's a small room. I've had this. We've had this for a couple of days now, and I can't get the smell of it out of this room because it's that strong. So it's a powerhouse of a fragrance as well. So combining that with the fact that I'm not really a massive fan of how it smells and how strong it is, it's just not really doing it for me. What about you?
So similar for me. Out of the both of them, I prefer Shiaka. I think that's more
100%.
more in line with what I like. It's not to say that this at all is a bad fragrance. It's just more on taste. So if you're a big fan of the sort of Baccarat Rouge DNA, I think you would absolutely love this. And like Ant said, the performance on this is monstrous. So if you love that DNA and you want that performance, this will be right up your alley. It's got that. I understand what you're saying regarding the fruits and that sort of oudiness. It's got a. I pick up a bit of a sweetness, and that could be the fruits that you're picking out as well.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's undeniable. It has that BR540 DNA. Um, it is something I could reach for. I'd probably say once in a while, um, but not something that I'm like I want to grab it. This will be a regular
Hmm.
for me, 100% regular. This is I understand this is Aroma Concepts' best, one of their best sellers, and I understand why. But yeah, with this one, I think it's just more on taste, and I think that's similar to other fragrances that me and Ant have tried. So an example of that is Tobacco Vanille. We're not big fans of Tobacco Vanille, and that's not to say it's a bad fragrance. It's just our taste
Absolutely. Yeah.
that we're not into it. But yeah, I think there's other ones that I'd probably like to try is the Oud Satin or Oud Amber to see how they compare to this Oud collection. But yeah, overall, if you're into BR540, it's for you.
Yeah, and I would jump on that and say that not only if you're into BR540, because I quite do like BR540. The thing that throws me off is the oody, the fruity oudiness of it. So if you're a fan of oud and a fan of BR540, I think that this is going to be right up your alley. It's just that it has a very unique scent, which, like Nick said, it's just not to my taste. But I can see why people can like it because there are nuances in it that are quite nice. Like I said, if you are the BR540 fan and you like that sweetness, then yeah, you might reach for this. It's just not for our taste, unfortunately. So let's talk about when you might want to put this on. For me, because of the type of fragrance that it is, this for me personally, I think that if you are looking to put this on, it's going to be an autumn winter fragrance. I think this is going to be far too heavy, far too strong for any sunshine. I think if the sun shines on this, given the fact that it's already got hints of sweetness and that backbone of BR540, I think that it's going to be far too much. So I think autumn winter is probably going to be the best time for you to wear this, and I don't think that you will need that many sprays either. Like I said, this fills this room up for days with a couple of sprays, and yeah, I think you're good to go. One or two sprays, you overdo it with the sprays on this, you are going to choke people out very, very quickly.
I think where I said that this would be an occasional one and the other one's a regular, for me, I think this would be a more of a dress up
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Okay.
scent for me. Rather than going round a friend's house. Um, for me, anyway, this would be more of a dress up in your shirt, going somewhere as an event. You've got the performance, you know it's going to last. Whereas I think if it's a bit casual and you're sitting in your house, I think it because of the performance and stuff like that, it may be a bit too overpowering.
I'd also say if you're going to be wearing a white shirt with this, just be careful because that juice is strong. It's a strong colored juice. So yeah, just be careful on the clothes if it's a light colored cloth. So that was our review on the two fragrances sent over by Aroma Concepts. So the first one again was Shiyaaka. I think we're both in agreement that we like this the best out of the two. And then
Yeah.
the second was the Ministry of Oud Greatest. Have you tried these fragrances? If you have, let us know what you think of them in the comments section below. And don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe button as well. Also, just before you go, don't forget that 10% discount with the discount code TKNR10 will get you 10% off at Aroma Concepts. So get on it if any of these tickle your pickle.
We've got lots of reviews on the way. This is both from our movie side and also from our fragrance side. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you on our next review.
Peace.